LGBT Australians will be counted in the national census for the first time in history after a massive backlash against the federal government. Just for context, Labor vowed in its national platform last year to include the LGBT community in the next census, which takes place in 2026. But last week, the government said this would no longer be the case, so as to avoid divisive debate on the subject. This abrupt announcement sparked a ton of blowback, not just from the general public, but on all sides of Parliament. 6 Labor MPs publicly urged Anthony Albanese to reverse the decision, while even some Conservative coalition MPs said that counting LGBT Australians would not bother them. So why all the backlash? Look at it this way. The whole point of the national census is to use data to create a well-rounded picture of Australia's makeup, be it through age, country of birth, education, religion, occupation, and so on. What does it mean to be an Australian? Here's some data, have fun. Now, it's currently estimated that a bit over 10% of Australians identify as LGBT, but also who actually knows, because it's not in the census. The argument from advocates is that to not include a significant community is to sweep them under the rug. You're basically denying them their right to recognition. And in even more pragmatic terms, this has policy implications. We know that LGBT Australians suffer from disproportionately high rates of poor mental health, but without official data on exactly what that number is, the government cannot accurately allocate the appropriate amount of funding to address that issue. And this is not an out there move. LGBT people are already counted in census data in the UK, Canada, Scotland, New Zealand. If anything, we're a bit behind the times. Just for further context, there was a similar outcry over the most recent census in 2021. And last year, the Australian Bureau of Statistics did something quite rare. They formally put out a statement of regret for the exclusion and vowed to work with the LGBT community for the next census, which made last week's news an even bigger slap in the face. The Sex Discrimination Commissioner, Dr. Cody, said the excuse of avoiding another culture war wasn't good enough, arguing that this omission would actually embolden and validate those who would be waging that war. And it's also kind of putting the onus to do better on the wrong people. Mr Albanese has now overturned the backflip, saying he's been in talks with the ABS and there will be an optional question around sexuality as long as the testing goes well. When asked about the backflip, the PM said the re-inclusion was a common sense position and was about bringing Australia into the modern era.